Hey everybody, welcome back to Winter is Coming Live, the official Game of Thrones after show of winteriscoming.net, brought to you by Entertainment Weekly. My name is Adam Rady, and I'm going with the lumberjack look today. To my left is Alison Haislip, and she's sticking with the gorgeous as always look.
Oh.
And of course, to my right is Xavier Brinkman, and he's just going with that darn accent, even though we can all tell it's fake.
I had no idea what he was going to say then. Good.
So welcome back, guys. We're talking The Gift, which is Season 5, Episode 7 of Game of Thrones. If you haven't watched that yet, shame on you. You should stop watching us and go watch that, then come back and watch us, because we're talking about it, we're going to spoil it. In the meantime, if you have thoughts, comments, questions, concerns, other things, words, use the hashtag WIC to talk about them and tell us your thoughts and those other words that I used to tell us about them. Let's get started, guys.
Yes.
All right, so here we go. They make them tough in the north. That was kind of a rough
some messed
scene.
up stuff that we saw.
Yeah, and it's interesting that I'm surprised we haven't seen any fallout from it yet.
Yeah, well, you know,
Dear sweet Sansa.
I mean, man, like we all kind of thought, like after last week, it's like, well, it clearly every time. I think we all do it. It's like the script now. Well, it can't get any worse.
Yeah.
Oh
It
man.
already did.
That felt like it was Reek's redemption moment.
Right?
Theon's redemption
Well, you
moment. We're
thought-
finally going to get
I'm
him back.
I'm so disappointed in Rick that he's just being pathetic in all of this, and I can only hope that I don't know if there was a scene where just at the very start there where Sansa picks up, and I know you guys saw this as well, where she picks something up, and I don't know whether it was a dagger or what exactly. Did you see what it
It
was?
seemed like it was something to tap the barrel it was on.
We can only hope that this is the moment, this is the
that's
object that's
definitely
going
coming into
to
play.
put Ramsay to an end, that she is going to get back on top.
Well, that's a great catch because, like you guys know, I was writing notes during the
Yeah.
episode because I was trying to keep track of everything. So I actually missed that.
Yeah, I saw you. You were just
That was a
you
big
were next to me
moment.
and you were just looking down and writing. I'm like, I better tell him that because that's a pivotal.
Well, I have
scene.
totally missed it. So if you guys saw it,
I
let us know.
Yeah, I just couldn't see what the actual object was. So if anyone got a better look at it. Let
You're
us know what it
Australian,
was.
it's okay, that's
yeah,
how you say it
that's
there.
actually a word in Australia. Gooder, Teeps gooder.
Yeah, sure.
Carry on.
Using that darn accent.
Yeah.
Man. So we find out that the fallout, or I don't know if it's the fallout or just the continuation of what we saw at the end of last week, which certainly a lot of controversy about that out there and a lot of words and things to be said about that particular scene. But Sansa basically says, he hurts me every night because Reek says, he'll hurt you if you just sit here, be quiet, and do what he wants.
says.
Yeah, do what he says.
Otherwise, he'll hurt you.
And she says he hurts me every night. So obviously, it's now been
A few days, a couple
at least
weeks.
some days, a couple
Yeah.
weeks. Some time has passed. She turns to Reek and basically says, "Hey, your name is Theon Greyjoy," and she goes through the whole litany of names attached to that and titles. And I think we all kind of thought that maybe this was going to be
this was going to be his redemption moment.
like the click, and you said. I think it was you while we were watching it. You were like, "Oh, well, don't show the candle."
Yeah, when he
while
was
he's
walking through the courtyard, I'm like, "Hide the candle, Theon. What are you doing?"
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I was obviously thinking, I don't know if you guys were as well. I was obviously thinking he'd gone to the highest room of the tower, and then Ramsay had happened to be there. But obviously he'd just gone straight to him to tell
Yeah,
him.
Right.
I'm gonna brag on myself here, and because I told you I was like, or he's not going to the highest tower, and he's going. And once they started not showing, they were like, oh, here's the broken tower, and then now we're just in a building climbing up. I was like,
Right.
this is totally not
You know
the
what's so
broken
funny?
tower.
My thought when I saw him climbing up, when I still thought he was in the broken tower, when he opened that door, I couldn't wait to see that scene, that location again, because we haven't seen the top of the broken tower since the first season, and I was like, ooh, this was like this was the end of the first episode of this show. The most pivotal moment happened at the top of that tower, and I was actually really excited to see it again, and then we didn't.
That's it. But how would the way that Ramsay got the old lady? I mean, I wonder how he was able to draw the connection back to that lady.
I wondered that as well.
Because Reek never knew that lady was the one who told Sansa.
Right.
She just said, "I still have friends in the north. They told put the candle up there and they'll save me." How did they get back to her?
I think it's the old saying that people talk, and you can find once you can find out. Gold goes a long way.
Yeah. Okay.
And not only does gold go a long way, but Ramsay being freaking scary and flaying people goes a long way to get you to be like, oh yeah, it was her.
Yeah.
She did it.
Right.
Yeah, and it wasn't me. She did it.
Imagine getting your skin peeled off
Yeah.
How about I don't imagine that, Xavier?
Yeah.
How about I don't imagine
All
that?
right.
Yeah,
You
and
did that too.
a few other pickups in this scene, because you obviously mentioned that Sansa picks up something, and then there's the whole issue of Reek still being Reek and not Theon, even though we all were kind of hoping for different. A couple other things to pick up there. Ramsay knows that Stannis is already on the move. He says his scouts have already seen that, so clearly we know that these two forces are gonna meet, presumably at Winterfell, because they're gonna come down to Winterfell. And then the other pickup was, of course, I felt like, and I want to ask you guys, did you feel like Sansa was gonna try to manipulate, try to use a little bit of knowledge, a little bit when she was like, well, your mother's pregnant or your stepmother's pregnant?
I think she was just trying to take him down a notch.
Yeah. Okay.
Trying to.
So you felt like it was just
keep
her
him in
just
place
being like,
a little.
yeah.
I think she was just ruffling his feathers because she hates him, and I was scared for her when she started doing that. I'm like, stop
I thought that as well.
Sansa.
But another interesting moment, that happened right then. He talks about Jon being the Lord of oh my gosh, use your brain, Alison.
Lord Commander of the Night's Watch.
Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, thank you. And Sansa didn't know, and it had never occurred to me that Sansa didn't know what was going on with Jon.
Yeah. That's actually a perfect point to start talking about the next part. So obviously, Jon is the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, and Sansa didn't know. And currently, Jon's mission that he's taken on is to go out with Tormund to Hardhome. And we kind of open up, I believe the episode opens up on that. And he's going to go right off, and he's leaving Alistair in charge. So kind of the first question on that is, what do you guys think about Alistair being left in charge?
Well, I mean, Jon did the right thing by giving Alistair, making him in charge of the cavalry. What did he make him in charge of?
No, he's in charge. He's the first ranger.
He's the
First ranger,
yes.
that's it. The cavalry. Oh my
Instead
God.
of, he could have made him. He could have put him in charge of the latrine.
He could have, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Jon was doing a good job of giving him the respect he needed to give him to get him back on his side. So I don't think he was a terrible decision to leave in charge. What concerned me is his little comment to poor Sam Tarly after Aemon's death.
Yeah, and not to glaze over Aemon's death, but it just kind of was like, oh, by the way, Aemon's dying and he's dead.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh,
well,
crap.
He's been on his deathbed this entire season.
Yeah, no, and he hasn't, and I think we've always known how old he is in terms of the show makes him you're very old.
Yeah.
You're going to I don't mean any offense to the actor. I just mean they were always oh, you're very old. But what a wonderful actor, first and foremost, and I apologize for not knowing.
What an incredible last line they gave him.
Yeah.
When he's like, Egg, I dreamed I was old, and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
But you get to his last moments, he gets to be a kid again,
Yeah, and what just some wonderful lines there when he's because he's blind and he's touching Gilly's baby, and he's like oh, Egg laughed like that, and it's what a wonderful kind of turn, because Aegon was this kind of horrible king that we find out, but Aemon's kind of reply to that was, well, before all that, he was just a happy little little baby.
You know what I really loved about that funeral scene was when Sam stood up to speak for him, and he spoke about how he was a Targaryen and he was born of the fire, and now his fire's been put out. I thought it was pretty amazing, because when you go to the Night Watch, you give up your family ties. But when you pass, you're given that
back.
You're given that
back.
back.
And I wonder how many people knew he was a Targaryen.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I might have, but I feel until they said the name Targaryen, I'm like, geez, that's right. Did you know about that?
Yeah,
he was talking about it in the last episode, or what the last episode he was in, about how Dany is by herself.
Yeah, true.
And it's actually
family.
revealed way back in season 1 with when he's talking to Jon, because Jon's just got to the wall and he's basically all bummed and blah blah blah. And Aegon's like, yeah, well, you know what? Guess what? Life's not nearly as bad as you think it is, because maybe it's not season 1. Yeah.
I think it's 2.
It's either, sorry, and the fans will know, it's either when Ned dies or when, it could have been when Rob dies. It would have been when everything's going in trouble and Ned's arrested and he's going to go south.
I think it's when Rob dies. I think it's when Rob dies.
Well,
I think I remember that.
Whatever it is, I'm sure you guys will correct us. It's 5 seasons worth, so we'll miss some
it's all
points
up here
there.
somewhere in my brain.
But regardless, obviously, I'm just curious how many Night's Watch brothers knew he was a Targaryen.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, like how many people in the world knew that in the world of Game of Thrones? Not to mention how many people had just knew it and then forgot it.
Yeah,
or whatever.
I mean,
Because it's also shocking that knowing how sort of duplicitous the Night's Watch can be, they're not all great guys. To have a Targaryen survive that long up there when his brother was, doing some pretty crazy things.
Yeah, and speaking of, there's not great guys up there. Gilly obviously gets herself into trouble.
Right.
And trouble.
Yeah.
The kind that only Game of Thrones knows.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And Sam steps up, and he was awesome.
He was great.
He was
but
great,
all
but
right, so let's talk about something here. So it's like he gets really gets a serious beat down.
Yeah.
Can I ask? Did you guys think like for a second they may kill Sam?
I
Because I was
know,
like,
for a sec there, but I mean that would have knocked anyone
That was
unconscious. But Sam was
vicious.
great, and he got up and he's like, all right, let's rumble.
Yeah.
But I mean, like it's like when he did it, he had so much confidence, like he had a plan, and then Ghost comes behind him. It's like, how could you have known that was going to happen, and what was your plan if it didn't?
Right.
what the heck?
Right.
Ghost is just like, hey,
Where
I'm
have
here
you
now.
been?
Yeah.
I'm here now, and
Yeah.
now I'm gonna go over here. Bye.
Yeah, it's
what
like,
the-
what was Sam's, if Ghost hadn't come out, what was Sam's plan? Is to get kicked in the face 12 more times? Like, to really tight, to like,
that
to
scene,
hurt one of
honestly-
their feet or something? Like, I don't know, I didn't get that.
Well,
but
no, I
worked
agree
out
with
great.
you.
I'm
And that scene, jumping back to like him getting punched, was just, and I realize it's not the same at all, but in my mind, I was just having flashbacks to Oberyn getting his face crushed because there was a guy over him, the mountain was, and I was just like, oh my God, is Sam gonna die? I was like, this is gonna be completely shocking
Yeah.
if Sam's gonna bite it here. But yeah, man, Ghost showing up was weird and unexpected. I mean, I'm glad he's there.
Yeah.
That was
I
lucky.
kind
It was
of
a lucky
forgot
break.
where Ghost was for a while.
I feel like it's been a long time
And-
since we
Yeah.
saw Ghost.
Yeah, and so we can already see that like things are falling apart a little bit with Jon Snow leaving. Within hours of Jon
Right.
Snow leaving,
Yeah, and-
people are getting almost raped.
Yeah, and Ollie was throwing a lot of looks.
A lot of
some
shade.
shade, yeah.
Throwing
Yeah,
some
there you
shade,
go.
Ollie.
There you go.
Because Ollie doesn't want those wildlings around, man.
Yeah, so I
They
guess
killed
we
his
should,
family.
I guess real quick we should touch on the last point of this, and it's a fun one. We like to keep it fun here, guys. Was that the first makeout session that Sam's ever had? And then clearly the first time he's had sex, he was like, wow, we're just gonna go right into this.
I'm going to go with yes.
Yes on all fronts.
Yes on all
lot of new
fronts.
things happened to
God
Sam
bless
that day.
Gilly, man.
lot
God
of
bless
new
Gilly.
things. Yeah, a lot of new things happened to him. It's a whole new world for Sam
Although I feel
Tarly.
like he and Gilly kissed at some other point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
they've
thought
kissed,
they-
but they weren't full making out.
Yeah, there's-
What did he say when they?
I feel like we're getting very high school termy about this.
It was
they
a
go
kiss.
to
It
first
wasn't a
base? Not
makeout.
involved.
They got to first base and nothing else. What did he say when they started having sex? He was like, "Oh boy."
Yeah.
Oh. So
Oh,
good.
and we pointed out, we were like, how does TV sex work? Because it's just like, now your pants are off, and now I'm on top of you, and it just works.
know.
And
It's
it was
in,
like,
that's mad.
yeah,
that's
well,
magic.
yeah. Well,
That's
I mean, I guess
magical
we shouldn't go too
sorcery
far
stuff.
with that thought, but it was just
Right.
sort of like,
She just
oh,
climbs on him, and then all of a sudden everything worked itself out.
yeah, really.
You know, let's not
That's
skip
not-
past
that's not
that,
what
guys.
happens to you
That's
guys?
a questionable scene also.
I just what?
No,
oh,
it
man.
definitely doesn't
Oh.
happen for us.
Yeah.
No.
When we do it, never happens.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Anyway,
Because I totally do it a lot and stuff with girls and
Oh God, Skip. Oh my God, next.
All right. So moving on. There is power in King's blood. And bummer, man. Shireen getting
Well, I was
called
wondering
out
how
by
long
Melisandre.
it was going to take before that suggestion came up.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was such an obvious one to me when he was like, when she kept, the Red Woman kept talking about, we need King's blood, the blood of, the Baratheons run through his veins. That's why they wanted Jon Snow. I was like, Shireen. I mean, not that I want Shireen sacrificed for any reason, but I was like, that's kind of obvious, isn't it?
Well, it was very clear when Melisandre was like, oh, no, they're coming. Like, both your wife and your kid are coming. And, it's really difficult because they've made this season Stannis into that character we've talked about a number of times now on the show, where it's like, oh crap, Stannis is a dad, whether he's a good or a bad one. Like he feels for his daughter, he loves his daughter, it's very clear. And I guess the most obvious question, of course, is do you think he'll go through with it?
I mean, I'd hope not.
No, feel like that could be the thing that stops Stannis from becoming king. Because I think we've talked about this before, like, who do we think is going to be king? And I was like, I really don't think Stannis would be, but what would Stannis' downfall be? Yeah. He probably won't sacrifice his daughter. Yeah. And the Red Woman is going to be like, well, that was your shot. Sorry.
An unforeseen turn of events for Stannis, who sort of comes in there like looking for a cuddle or some affection.
Looking for a cuddle.
And like he sort of like
Australians are adorable.
He sort of like puts his hand on her back. He's like, "What's up?" And she's like, "By the way, why don't we sacrifice your daughter?" He's like, "Killed the mood. What's going on?"
That happens to me every time. Always suggesting I sacrifice my daughter.
Yeah. I mean, I bet he wasn't expecting her to say that when he walked in on there.
Yeah. You know what I'm gonna go crazy prediction here.
All right.
You guys ready for this?
Yep.
I think that this is gonna be a reason to get Melisandre and Jon Snow back on the screen together. Because Stannis is not gonna want to give up Shireen, and Melisandre's gonna know the only way to win is with, quote unquote, the king's blood or royal blood or whatever kind of blood.
So they're gonna somehow get Jon Snow back?
So she's gonna want to get Jon Snow back. I think this is a great way to get Melisandre and Jon Snow more screen time, because I mean that was some crazy stuff that we only saw for like a few episodes up there in the north. So that's my crazy prediction.
But then your prediction is that Jon Snow dies.
My prediction is that Melisandre wants to use Jon Snow to cut him open and kill him.
Right, that's what I mean.
Well, that's
but you don't know if that'll actually happen.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I think that makes sense.
Maybe Jon Snow kills her.
What?
Yes.
Yeah, I can just imagine like Jon Snow getting a Raven message being like, "Oh, Melisandre wants you to feel her heartbeat again," and him being like, "Turn the army around."
He's like, "I got a booty call."
Yeah, hang on a sec.
We gotta go this way.
Guys, it's a medical emergency. I have to feel her heartbeat.
Yeah, don't worry about the wildlings. We gotta go. I got some stuff I have to do.
Yeah, totally got stuff. I got some things over here that I gotta take care of. No, I mean I'm just saying that I think it's a good way to move that story back to those two being on screen together. Makes sense to me.
I think you just want to see those two on screen together.
Maybe it's just I don't know that we need to worry about things like that. We should.
Are you writing some Game of Thrones fan fiction? That was happening.
Fanfic? Yeah, and
although let's be honest, Game of Thrones is its own fanfic.
It's weird that there's like a Lord Adam with a beard in it. I don't know. It's kind of funny that there's.
Which one's Lord Adam?
In my fanfic.
This fool.
This is how we know I'm tired. You're far too amusing today.
The one that lays down with the redhead, Alison. No. All right.
Moving
so here we go. Moving on. Some other cool points that I just wanted to point out really fast was that Stannis. Sorry, I'm just making myself laugh now. Stannis is like, "Hey, we're going forward. Like the only direction to go is forward, win or lose." And I thought that was just such a cool line. That speaks to me just in a lot of ways. But I just
that
like
was another line though where I was like, "Stannis ain't gonna do it then." He's marching towards defeat, and Sansa's still gonna be stuck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So he's lost a lot of people. Well, not lost. Yeah, he's lost 500 sellswords and 40 horses. Going to lose more. Davos is
the sellswords died? What happened there?
No, the sellswords rode off.
Oh, that's right.
Sellswords are paid swords. Obviously, as the name suggests, with sellswords. Good job, Adam. Great job. Another great line from the episode was, "You'll have to buy me as well. We're a team."
Oh, Tyrion.
I dug that a lot.
And of course he gets bought because he's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, and he beat the crap out of that dude.
And everyone just stood around and watched. They're like, "Yeah, sure, let the dude we're selling beat the guy who we're not selling."
He was holding the chains,
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured that guy probably got in chains after that.
Oh,
once he got beat up. Yeah, he didn't make it very far. So the biggest thing to talk about, of course, is besides the fact that they get sold very quickly, they're already at the fighting pits, and conveniently enough, Daenerys is there, having just had like a weird bedtime conversation with Dario.
Pillow talk.
Yeah,
pillow
talk.
Yeah,
some Game of Thrones pillow talk, where he kind of had a lot of suggestions, I guess.
And one of them was, kill all the masters in the town. In the city.
Yeah.
That seems slightly excessive to me.
Yeah.
Xavier, do you think she'll do that?
I mean, yeah, you never know, actually. I mean, at first she was like, hell no, but, the man, I guess there is some logic behind it.
Got a wonderful beard.
It's brutal
But
logic.
his great line was, every ruler is either a butcher or the meat.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh.
That was good. But I did love, skipping from that, I did love Jorah's entry into the pits.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was pretty awesome.
But you know what was great about Jorah's entry is he didn't actually kill any of
those
guys.
He just knocked them out.
Knocked them all out.
I was about to point that out. And did you notice how Daenerys responded to that?
Yes.
Because I read it as like two ways. I read it as one, she was maybe recognizing him, but two, she was definitely recognizing something she liked, which
Yeah,
was,
she was
this is a
respecting
dude-
him. Yeah.
Mercy, yeah. I mean, the other guys were just like killing it, like, you know, stabbing each other in the neck right in front of her.
Yeah, very clear
was
like
an awful
brutality
neck stab.
juxtaposition with this more of a mercy type
Right.
type way to go.
Or an honorable way to win a fight is by not having to kill them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You just show your dominance and you knock them out.
yeah. I just show you dominance. So the result of this is, of course, the name of the episode is
The Gift.
And we discover that there are actually two gifts in this episode, but that particular gift that we're talking about is Tyrion
Lannister.
What a cool way, and honestly, it would have been a fitting way to end the episode.
I
too.
totally thought the episode, when he was like, I'm Tyrion Lannister, I was like, episode end. Oh, it didn't end. Oh, okay, still watching. Got it.
They like to mess with us in that way.
Yeah.
And you know what? It would have been a great ending. Like, it would have been one of those ones where we're like, oh, this is a feel-good one, compared to like last week's where we were like, oh.
But here's the thing. That ending is a feel-good to us because we know that that's where Tyrion's been attempting to get. Dany doesn't know that, so we don't know where that scene's, like, he announces himself, I'm Tyrion Lannister, and in her head she's going, you are my enemy. So she could have immediately just ordered him to death.
Yeah, I love her little look there where she kind of gave like a little like, oh really?
Yeah, but I mean, but you know that she's at least going to pull them out of their hands, like Jorah and Tyrion. She's going to pull them out of the hands of these slavers.
Well, obviously.
At least lock them up in a nice prison and talk to them, you know, like, and we know that Tyrion's a great talker, so it's like at least we know that they've got their opportunity to talk their way out.
He's got a chance.
The situation that they're already in, which is pretty ridiculous.
Will both of them make it out of that situation being Daenerys and her sort of judgment?
Well, Tyrion will. Tyrion can talk himself out of anything.
Okay, so we're pretty
obviously.
confident that Tyrion's going to
I
make
think
it out.
so, but it's like I feel like Tyrion coming in like readily going, hey, yeah, I'm the gift, here I am. It sort of takes away from Jorah's attempt to give her something because he was on his way there anyway. You know, it's not like Jorah like captured him and forced him in front of her. You know.
Will Jorah reveal his grayscale as a means to elicit mercy rather than, will he basically be like, hey, look, use me to go kill your enemies because I'm going to die anyways?
I love that. That's a great pickup.
Yes, or something like that. Or he's going to say, I didn't come here for forgiveness, or I didn't come here to come back into your ranks. I'm a dead man anyway.
Yeah.
I came for your forgiveness or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love, that's a great pickup. I
Yeah.
bet, he'll definitely use the dying man.
Oh, yeah.
To
Yeah.
as a positive. God, just not able to speak.
Yeah.
All right, there is, of course, the big stuff that we've been sort of, I don't know, we haven't gotten to yet.
Right.
And I'm calling this one the knees versus the hips. So that there was that cool part of like basically like, how come you don't kneel? How come you don't kneel? Oh yeah, well that's my hips.
Yeah.
That's my knees. I thought that was like, what a great scene.
Old people just bonding with each other.
Old people making good jokes.
Yeah.
So Olenna meets with the High Septon / High Sparrow.
Yeah.
And they have a little chat. And what I thought was very interesting about this was, of course, Olenna comes out swinging like she always does, and man, just hitting on every barb. Yeah. But he kind of, he plays the game a little bit. But what's more interesting to me is when he's like, you are so used to people having a hidden agenda, it just blows your mind that I don't have a hidden. Here's my agenda. I serve the gods.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I thought that was a pretty rad, and for Olenna and Cersei as well, we'll get to that, but I think that that's an enemy they've never had to go against.
Yeah.
Right. Someone who's working out of morality.
Just righteousness, basically, some kind of religious zealot, basically. And who it doesn't have any sort of hidden agenda besides to just be open-faced about like, hey, here's what's going to happen.
The High Septon and High Sparrow is so well spoken too. He really articulates his motive so well.
It makes you wonder what his background is, you know?
Yeah, he really articulates everything that he's doing so well and gives you such great metaphors that, it's hats off to him.
And I think the best thing that he said was at the end of that conversation with the Queen of the Thorns when he was like, you don't realize that you are part of the few. And when the many are no longer scared of the few, and then he just leaves it and walks away, and you're like, ooh!
Yeah, that was great.
The power shift is coming.
Because she pulled out the same threat that she pulled out to Cersei, which was like, hey, so we're just going to not provide stuff for King's Landing, and then you guys are going to suffer. And he's like, oh, you think that?
Yeah.
Because guess what? We know how to do things.
Yeah.
What do you know how to do? And by the way, as Alison pointed out, you're the few, we're the many.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're going to figure that out real soon.
Yeah. So that was really cool. And then it jumps over to Tommen, and he is showing some fangs.
Tommen is slowly becoming my favorite. God bless that little boy. He is awesome. Every time he speaks, I'm like, yeah. Yes.
Little bit, Xavier, little bit of Joffrey and Tommen in a scene there.
I think he's had to learn from his brother. His brother was a nutcase, but he did know how to like show some force when he had to.
Well, yeah, because he comes
I
out.
didn't see Joffrey.
Well, just when he was like, "I will kill them all. I will get an army. I will call in the army. We will go in there. and We will kill them all."
Okay,
and
yeah.
I was like, and the actor, of course, resemble. They definitely are Lannisters.
Right.
And so I was just sort of like, wow, a little bit. We're seeing.
Might be that, but might be
And I don't think he is.
Just,
but
yeah, it might be he's just backed against the wall. He's got no other option.
Yeah, and the difference is as we saw at the end of the scene when he's like, "I love her, I can't help that," which I was like, "Oh, God bless." That's his love is what made him want to call in the armies, as opposed to Joffrey, who wanted to call in the armies out of like spite and ego.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great call. And speaking of people loving someone and willing to do anything, Cersei was like, "Your happiness is all that matters to me."
Yeah.
And he's like, "I know." And she's like, "Oh no, you don't. There is nothing I wouldn't do for you."
That's
and
one of the few times that I really honestly believed the words coming out of Cersei's mouth.
Yes.
You know,
And
that there
then-
wasn't another motivation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Right.
then she
Yeah.
straight turns around and she's like, "Let me talk to the High Septon."
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
I'll-"
that part was
she's like,
obviously
her
manipulation.
conditions are sufficient. Like she's in.
Oh yeah, because she walks in into the cell and she's like, "Oh, this is horrible."
Yeah.
Right.
She's horrible. She is horrible.
Man.
This actor. I mean, not actors. This character is horrible. Like you're right. She turned on the waterworks. She genuinely looked sincere, and then just walked in and contradicted everything that she said, and was complete and walked away
Well,
from
no, the
Marjorie. She
difference-
walked away with a smile on her face.
But the difference is that I'm saying that I believed her when she said that her son
Sure.
was the only thing that mattered to her.
I did too. Yeah.
I think the things she does for her son are despicable.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah.
that's what I mean. When she was finally like, you are the only thing that is important in this world, that's one of the few times that I was like, those words are the most sincere words she's ever said.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
I think
Yeah.
the follow-up to that is actually probably the most sincere any character has ever acted that's royal, where they just break down. Was Marjorie. I thought when she throws the pot at her and it's just
Oh,
like
yeah.
I was like, wow, this is like Marjorie's just bare, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
stripped away all the
Yeah.
finery and everything, and Marjorie's just one woman to another, like, you better get out of here. I
It's
better never
always
see you
been
again.
it's always been so fluffy, their dialogue like back and forth
Right.
with each other. It's just lies, and this time it was just like, yo, I know what you're trying to do. Just get out of here. Like there's no more no more crap.
Yeah, and it's not even what you're trying to do. It's like what you did to me, and it's just like I could see her. I guess my question to you guys is Marjorie broken? In other words, is she just done with the fight? Like if she were to get out, would she just be like, look, let's just pack. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm not playing this game. I'm done.
I don't know if she's at that point, but I think it would depend on how much longer she's there and what they put her through during this trial she apparently has to face.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, real quick scene before the final scene was Olenna and Littlefinger meeting together. Very, very cool. I thought, what a great line from Littlefinger too, when he's like, we invented certain desires that didn't exist before.
Yeah.
I was like, wow,
Yes.
that's a claim.
Yeah.
And Olenna basically calls him on it too. She's like, yeah, you love yourself
Yeah.
way too much.
Right.
But he says, hey, I have a gift, gift
you
for
go.
you, and it's a young man. And I think we were all kind of like, wait a second, is this gonna be Lancel? Of course it is, because the High Septon / Sparrow does the same thing. He says there was a young man that came to us, and man. So I gotta say, there's probably a lot of people on the internet right now and in the world that are very excited for that ending, which was Cersei
Oh, right.
maybe
So it
getting her
was
comeuppance.
So was that the young man that got
Oh, yeah.
Alright.
Because Lancel said when he first
Yeah, it's true,
approached
true.
Cersei when, in the beginning of this season, he was like, I didn't tell them about us, but I should have. He said something along those lines.
Yeah, and there was a fan question too about that
Yeah.
as well. That kind of was like, hey, how come Lancel didn't say this? And hey, guess what? He just did.
He just
Yeah.
did.
And
because
whether that was
obviously it was influenced by
Somehow
the Queen of the
influenced by,
Thorns or
by
something.
Littlefinger,
Littlefinger,
or
yeah.
Olenna or
well,
somebody.
Jeez, man, well played by Littlefinger on that
Yeah.
one.
So
He's
speaking,
always got a card up his sleeve. Always.
Yeah.
He's got an entire deck stuffed up there. And then some.
Full deck.
speaking of fan questions, we've got some
Woo.
comments as well. Remember, they used the hashtag WIC. Did you? If we don't read your question, it means you probably didn't. So make sure you use the hashtag WIC, and we will get to your questions, comments, and concerns. The first one this week is from @RealChrisAsbury, who says, why is Ghost not on the way to Hardhome?
I'm going to guess because they're taking ships on the way back. And I don't think Ghost really wants to be on a boat.
Yeah, they are taking ships.
Yeah, they had to borrow Stannis' boats to get
and they
guys
also
out of there.
needed Ghost to conveniently save Sam.
Right. But here's the
why.
deal. We all forgot about Ghost. If Ghost hadn't turned up in this episode, that question wouldn't have come up.
I feel like Ghost showed up at the end of last season when Jon went north of the wall to go deal with Mance or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway,
I don't remember, but yeah, so why Ghost
No,
is
he
on
was
his way to
definitely in the
Hardhome?
fight when the wildlings attacked.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So it wasn't so far. Long
Yeah.
ago.
Well, anyways, I think it's a great question why he's not going on his way to Hardhome. Boats is as good an answer as had to save
Well,
Sam.
we have the answer. He needed to save Sam.
But obviously, Ghost does what he wants.
Yeah.
If he wants to go to Hardhome, he's going to go to Hardhome.
Yeah.
So maybe expect to see him there too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But maybe the ships thing is a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So great question. Thank you so much. And we are going to go on to question number 2, which is from @GBNF4Life, which is a gentleman or lady who has asked us quite a few questions in the past. And this question is, why would Dany trust Tyrion? And I thought that was kind of
She
something
probably won't
Yeah.
at first. But Tyrion's really good at talking.
He's just so well educated on things, you know?
Yeah.
And he can always depict what people are thinking before they say it, you know?
Right.
I feel like he would be able to come in and just, my prediction is he'll come in and say, look, this is what you're thinking, this is your options, you're obviously confused about this, I can help you with this, let's work it out.
Hey, you know what I think?
Hey,
Prediction time.
prediction time.
Tyrion, he's
Yeah.
gonna be the hand to the queen. That's gonna be that's my prediction.
A hand to the
I like
queen.
it.
Yep. That's
I
gonna
like
be my
that.
prediction.
Because, I mean, Tyrion really has nowhere else to go. You know, he can't go back to where he's from
No,
because
right,
he's a
exactly.
wanted
Well,
killer.
that is probably the reason why Dany will eventually trust him, because he literally is at the last place he could
Well, that's it.
possibly
I mean,
go.
she could be like, why should I trust you? And he'll be like, well, I killed Tywin Lannister. I killed,
Yeah.
you know, your
Yeah, I think that his honesty, his desire will come out, and I don't think that she'll trust him at first. But I think that over time she'll learn to trust him, and my prediction is he'll become the hand.
Yeah.
I think, or she'll cast him out. Who knows? And
Yeah.
I'll be totally wrong.
Well, also, Dany doesn't really run her form of government the way that they do in King's Landing, so I don't know if she'd even really have a hand.
Yeah.
She has her Queen's Guard, doesn't she?
Well,
they part of the-
advisors at least. Anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Embarrassings.
anyways,
So, yeah.
Yeah.
it's my prediction, Alison.
I like it. I like
don't
it.
Be mean.
I like
I
it.
predicted stuff. Thanks so much for the question, and of course, question number 3. We're going to move on to @DanielleRenee. And this is not so much a question as a statement, and I think it's something we were all probably thinking one way or the other. It says, I honestly thought that last week's rape scene would have been Theon's turning point. I'm hurt.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we said at the beginning of this episode. I
Yeah.
was shocked.
I'm also hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? I would say that I agree that it would have been Theon's turning point, but it's not Reek's turning point.
Oh.
Using different names to answer your question,
Oh,
comment.
snap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at you with the technicality.
I think that if Theon's going to change, it's going to be the events in Winterfell / Sansa being there that are going to push him to change, if he's going to change. But obviously, there's going to be a lot of things that need to happen to push him.
Yeah.
It won't be one event.
It'll probably be like, it will probably be a culmination of things that leads to a moment of urgency. Like,
Yeah.
I can just picture Stannis's army coming in
Yeah.
and it being like, we are under
Sure.
attack, and Theon has to make a decision then.
Well, it's like
You know?
you'd think that Sansa getting raped would be the situation of urgency as you described, but obviously that wasn't enough. So it's going to be something pretty serious that's going to make him click.
Hey,
right?
maybe
Yeah.
it's Sansa grabbing something sharp to stab him with, and Reek helps
Please
out.
use that.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And hats off to Alfie Allen as well, and his acting is amazing.
He's so good.
He's been playing this wounded animal amazingly.
Yeah.
Yeah, a wounded animal that has like a lot
Yeah,
underneath.
he's
too.
he's
boiling.
he's been amazing.
Again, thank you guys so much for your questions, comments, concerns. Use the hashtag WIC. If we don't use the hashtag WIC, how are we going to know you guys are talking to us? So please use that throughout the week, and of course, right after the episode, so we can get all of your thoughts. And now our final thoughts. So, you guys, every week we do sort of our lightning round of final thoughts. And our first final thought is, who do you think, based on this episode and this season, is going to die next?
Yeah, no one died in this episode.
What? Eamon died.
Oh, right. I guess my point is no one was killed in this episode.
Yes. I can't believe someone in Game of Thrones reached out like old age and passed peacefully.
Yeah, exactly.
How
that,
rare is
never
that?
happened.
Yeah. Oh, and Bronn got the antidote, by the way.
Oh, yeah, we completely missed that.
We totally missed that one.
That was a bit weak, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I would like to see that play out a little longer or something. That they poisoned him and they're like, oh yeah,
something's gonna come up where someone else is obviously gonna get poisoned or cut or something, and Bronn's going to know that an antidote exists.
Yeah, maybe.
By the way,
who's gonna die?
Jeez, can we do Alison first? I got to think about this one, guys.
Whoa.
Yes, let's do Alison first.
Okay, who is going to die next?
Who's gonna die next?
I'm going to go with. Ooh, I wouldn't be shocked if it's like Myrcella or Tommen. I wouldn't be shocked if it's another one of Cersei's kids. Now that she's locked up and can't protect them.
Somebody in the north. Winterfell on up. It's tough for me to kind of pinpoint somebody, but man, maybe the Miranda character. And I know she's not a major one, so I guess that might be a cop out. But
she's not making it past this season.
Yeah, she may be a cop out. So major one. I don't know. Somebody in the north. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I guess this is mixed feelings, but I don't know if it's because I want to, but Ramsay, like, it would be such a huge thing for him to go. You know, I want to say that probably because I just want him to die so bad.
Yeah, let us know what you guys think, who you think is going to die next. We are sure that you will not hesitate to tell us. Just type it in there and let us know.
Going with someone in the north, I actually wouldn't be shocked if it was Stannis.
Yeah. Well, it could be Shireen.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Valid
man.
Points. Valid points.
Or Selyse. Anyways, there could be a lot of people that die. There's a whole bunch of people in Game of Thrones.
We'll talk about
you
this
may not
later.
know that.
Yeah.
There could be a lot of people that die. What is your favorite storyline from this week? What is your favorite storyline from this week? Xavier.
Yeah, all right. I'm going to go with favorite storyline of this week would have to be, I guess it's the High Sparrow and Cersei. I think has been awesome in just how it's evolved and just how everything just came and turned back on Cersei with her getting locked up. I think it's been really interesting. And what's going to happen now with that whole situation?
Yeah.
I'm going Jorah and Tyrion.
You're on Tyrion.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm really interested to see where that goes.
That was very cool. And of course, as we mentioned, we don't know if both of them are going to talk Dany into keeping him. One of them is. What's going to happen there? Both of those are great. I think for me, while it was very, very rewarding to see Cersei get some comeuppance, I dug Sam's stuff with Gilly. I feel like sometimes that can be stuff that is very easily kind of glazed over and missed. But I thought there were some really strong performances, some great stuff with Aemon. It was so touching and like I said, sort of quick in his passing. And I know it's not quick. It's been 5 seasons, and he, like you said, he passed peacefully.
Yeah.
But and I thought that was kind of sweet, and why I liked it because we don't normally see something like that.
Sure. I think Sam's public speaking skills are his sharpest weapon at this point. He's great.
All right, so our final one here.
Yep.
All right, who is your favorite bastard in Game of Thrones? Who's your favorite Game of Thrones bastard?
I'm going to say Tommen.
Oh,
I know he's not out as a bastard, but he's technically a bastard, and I love him. I love him now.
I can't go past Jon Snow. I think he's great. Whether or not he is a bastard, at this point he is, so I'm going to go with him.
Okay, I'm gonna say something which he's not my favorite because he's awful, but I think his awfulness makes the show so interesting and difficult to watch is Ramsay.
Yeah.
Ramsay makes it difficult to watch the show.
He doesn't get to be your favorite anything.
Okay, fine, Jon.
But good answer. That's
okay,
a
fine,
good
Jon
answer.
Snow. It's easy. I think Jon Snow is clearly a very easy choice. I like Gendry too. I thought he was a rad
Gendry.
character.
Oh, I miss him.
Or Gendry, or however you might
I say
that
Gendry.
Yeah.
Gendry.
We were talking if he will ever make a comeback. He rode off into the sunset.
I know.
Will he come
I feel
back?
like he has to. I feel like you don't send a character off like that in the way they did for him to not come back up at some point.
Yeah, if he's not dead, he's coming back.
Right.
Yeah. Well, thank you to all of you who have checked us out and have sent in your questions. Remember, always use the hashtag hashtag WIC to get us your questions, comments, and concerns. On behalf of myself, Alison, and Xavier, thank you so much for watching. We want to give a big shout out and thank you to the Stream.tv and FanSided, who of course make this show possible. And if you have questions, comments, concerns, besides of course Twitters and Facebooks and all that fun stuff, go to winterscoming.net or EW and let us know all your thoughts and feelings right there. So until next week, we'll see you later.
Cool, thanks guys.
See ya. Bye.